Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new episode of Music Theory FAQS, Frequently Asked Questions. Today we're going to discuss what I think is the most troubling aspect of music theory. It's the one thing that most people have the most trouble wrapping their head around, and that is none other than the modes. Okay? So what is a mode? Right? A mode is essentially a version of the major scale, but you're just starting on a different note of the major scale. So let's back up. All right, what is the major scale? As all of you know, the major scale is the foundation for all theory in music. We're going to work in the key of C today just to make it easy. Now, the interesting thing about the C major scale is that it's actually known previously as the Ionian mode. So the major scale is a mode, and the minor scale is a mode, also known as the Aeolian mode. So anytime you hear the word Aeolian, it's the equivalent of the natural minor, right? So you know the major and minor scale, but you're confused on modes, when in reality you already started to learn what modes are by learning the major and minor scale. They are modes, okay? So you're not alone out there if you're confused on modes. It took me many years of trying to understand this, taking lessons and learning from different sources. One day it just clicks, okay? I want that day to be today for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start at the beginning. I'm going to play the C major scale. I'm going to put the notes up on the screen, okay? Here's the C major scale. We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. All right, that is the C major scale. That is the foundation of all music theory. All right? If you take those notes, which are all natural notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and you restart from, say, D, and replay those notes using only natural notes, you get a mode, right? It's the D, which is the second degree of the major scale, and the mode that falls on the second degree of the major scale is known as Dorian, all right? So D Dorian is essentially the C major scale, but starting on D, all right? E Phrygian is the next mode. All right. So E Phrygian is essentially the C major scale, but starting on E. Starting on E, playing the notes of the C major scale from E and then ending on E. Going up to the fourth degree of the major scale, you have F. The fourth mode of the major scale is Lydian. All right, this is F Lydian. All right. Going up to the fifth degree in the C major scale, you have G. The fifth mode of the major scale is Mixolydian. All right. Up to the sixth degree, it is the Aeolian mode, which I previously mentioned about 2 minutes ago, the natural minor scale. So we have A natural minor. That would be probably the second most recognizable one next to the major. And then you have the one that's the most troubling, the Locrian mode. It's the one built off the B, which is the last note of the major scale. All right. Now, in order to understand modes, you first have to acknowledge the major scale. Now, the key of C major is the easiest one to work with because there's no sharps or flats. So visually, it makes the most sense to learn it based on C. So if you're playing C to C, you have the C major scale. If you want to play the Dorian mode, which is built off the second degree, you just move up to the D and replay the notes of the C major scale, okay? So I think we've made that quite apparent at this point. What I want to do is do a comparison of each of the modes to its major variety. And so what I mean by that is the key of C major is known as the Ionian mode. There's nothing to base that off of. That is literally the major scale and the first mode all at once, all at the same time. I want to compare D Dorian to D major because it's the difference in those notes, in those steps and half steps, that give the mode its signature sound. You know how the major scale sounds happy and bright? Well, some of these modes will sound dark, mysterious, and others will sound kind of mythical and spacey, right? I want to go through real quick and just show you the mode versus the major scale on the screen. So the key of D major has an F sharp and a C sharp. The Dorian mode built off D doesn't have any sharps. So here's the difference between D Dorian and D major. Here's D major. All right, familiar? Here's D Dorian. All right. Next, we're going to do the key of E major up on screen. There's E major. Here's E Phrygian. All right, F major. F Lydian. G major. G Mixolydian. A major. A minor, or A Aeolian. B major. B Locrian. All right, so I just went through all 7 modes of the major scale based on C major as the first mode, the starting point, okay? And as you could see, sonically, there's a big difference between the major sound and the modal sound. Now, before we end this video, I want to go through, again, this time I want to notate the main differences between these scales. All right, we're going to start with Dorian because the major is not the problem here. So Dorian has a flat 3 and a flat 7. All right, that is the difference between the D major and the D Dorian, is that flat 3 and flat 7. All right, the difference between E major and E Phrygian is a flat 2, 3, 6, and 7. All right, the difference between F major and F Lydian is a sharp 4. All right, so instead of having the B flat, we're going to make it a B. That is the sharp 4. The next one is the G major scale. 2G Mixolydian is a flatted 7. So instead of having that F sharp right there, we're going to have an F. So a flatted 7. And then, of course, with the Locrian, we're skipping over the minor because everybody should know the minor at least somewhat. But with Locrian, the difference between B major, which has 5 sharps, and B Locrian, which has no sharps, would be a flat 2, flat 3, flat 5, flat 6, and flat 7. And there's a lot of half steps in that scale. That's what makes that one so difficult to use, but also really cool at the same time. I hope I made an impression on somebody out there. I hope that your head just exploded. I would like you to please like and subscribe if you got anything from this video. I appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions or comments relating to this video and my demonstration of anything good or bad, anything that they would change, anything they want to know going forward that I could put into this series, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching.